Chris Sims here, EA34, and quickly talk about a little bit of the prop balancing system that a couple of us have here that EA members, EA Chapter 34 members can use for like 50 bucks. Now, this is my aircraft at annual. It's super easy to do when you're at annual because everything is opened up and you can get to things, but you don't have to open up the whole cowl to do this. What we've got is a accelerometer here and a strobe that will look at a piece of tape that's on the back of the propeller, and it will flash the computer every time that goes by, so it gets an accurate RPM. So now you can check your RPM on your tachometer, make sure everything is reasonably close, and if it's not, then you can make mental adjustments if you have a mechanical tachometer for what your true RPMs really are. And then it runs over here to this box, which is the computer, the DynaVibe computer. When it's running, you will let it run for a bit, and then you will push the button here to have it start averaging everything that it has seen for like the last 15 seconds, let's say between times that you average. And so it'll average, and then you can shut the motor down, see what you've got there, and enter that into a little graph that DynaVibe provides you. And then you will see where the heavy side is in this particular model. You'll go to the opposite side of the flywheel on a Lycoming anyway. And Lycomings are nice because they actually have holes drilled at every 30 degrees on the flywheel. And in this case, as you can see, I've already balanced this one before, and there's the weights that have been added to the flywheel. But we're just gonna, since I have the DynaVibe available and the aircraft is opened up, we just think this is a great time to do it again. So we're gonna run it and kind of see how we're doing it, see if anything changed. You should be doing this about every 400 hours anyway, or anything that, if you ever take the propeller off, if you change the spinner plate, anything that changes on here, this is well worth it. A lot of places are gonna charge you $300. Now, if it's a certified airplane, you do need to have a A&P mechanic sign it off. But if you're experimental, then you can do this anytime you want. And just doing it just to see where you are should be no problem at all. I mean, if you do see it, if you're doing an annual and you are concerned, then you for 50 bucks you find out where your balance is. If it's way out, it's measured in IPS, which is inches per second of acceleration. The goal is to be under 0.1 IPS. A lot of these are going to be, when you're in really bad shape, you're going to see 0.25, 0.3, 0.4, maybe 0.5. That's just telling you there's a lot of vibration going on in the aircraft. That will result in broken welds on your motor mounts, cracks in your aluminum, shakes your instruments up on the firewall or on the instrument panel. It's actually sending little vibrations just throughout the whole aircraft structure. None of that's really good. You might even get cracks in the windscreen. So for 50 bucks, this is a great insurance to make sure that something that you can actually control is not a problem. Now, when you buy or have a prop overhauled, or you buy a new prop, all they do is they statically balance it to make sure it's pretty close. They have a little a level that they put the prop on, the bubble that goes to the middle, and once they have that balance, that's good enough for them. But really, there's a lot of things going on the flywheel that can cause that to move out of the balance for this propeller only, such as I replaced my spinner plate last year because of a crack, and that threw the balance out. So what we did, we took for this Grumman, all you have to do is take the top of the cowl off and connect this all up, and then you can check the balance. And we did have to move the weights around a little bit because things changed. A new rotational component was put on the aircraft, and therefore the balance had moved. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to stitch the running of the balancer, and then maybe the solution when we get to that point. Okay, so on this DynaVibe, I'm idle RPM right now, but it's just to kind of show what we're doing. So the DynaVibe is running, the motor's running. I got 1100 RPM, which matches my Dynon Skyview, which is good. Right now we got 0.11 IPS and it's telling me where the heavy weight is at 205 degrees, 210 degrees. It moves around a little bit, that's normal. But what we do is we come up here with this an averaging button. If I push that, then it's going to start averaging everything that the DynaVibe has been seeing for the last, let's say 15 seconds. When we do high power runs, we're not going to run it for very long. And then it will tell me that my let's say 15-second average is 0.05 IPS at 126 degrees. That's the heavy side, so I'd have to go opposite that to add weight if I want to get it better. But you really can't get better than that. You'd be working all day and it starts to shift and wobble around. It gets very difficult when you have that low of a vibration. Okay, so we've balanced the Grumman, but we started off at 0.13 inches per second. And we at 115 degrees, that's where the heavy weight was. So based on the prop, 115 degrees, looking at it from the front going opposite, so we'd have to go counterclockwise. The heavy weight was, the heavy side was down here at about 115 degrees. So we came over and we added the weight at about 335 degrees or so. And we added 17 grams, and that took me down to 0.07. That's a balanced prop. This prop's been balanced before, therefore I wasn't very far out, but that's what you'd have to do. And you can see how we have, this is AN hardware, but it's got the bolt, a washer on the engine side of the flywheel, and a castle nut, and that's all balanced up real nice. If you have a Continental, you'll have a spinner plate that you'll have to drill, and the way you do that is you'll come in here with a couple of longer screws and put the weights right on the outer edge of the spinner, and then once you get a good balance, then you'll have to come in and sum the forces and come in a couple inches along that line, and then sum the forces and then come up with a solution, and it should work. Hope you enjoyed the video.